What's up, Ravens fans? It's time to hear from you guys in our Ravens Mailbag segment, and today we're going to address a topic that I have a feeling we're going to spend a lot of time talking about over the next few months.
I think you're right.
That's wide receiver. It's always a popular topic in the offseason, so let's jump into the questions. This first one comes to us from Anthony, and the question is, what are the chances that we keep Mike Wallace next year?
I'm going to go with okay.
All right, right in the middle?
Right in the middle. You know, I think the Ravens are going to look at it and say, Mike Wallace is our best wide receiver this past year. But then on the flip side, you know, he's going to turn 32 years old. I don't know how much money he's going to command. That could really go any way. You know, he was $8 million against the Ravens cap last year. That's a good chunk of change, probably a little higher than what production Mike Wallace gave you this season. He had a little bit of a lower production than he did the previous year. So you combine age, you know, do you want to get younger there? There's a lot of things in play here. I think Mike Wallace will be open to coming back to the Ravens. I think the Ravens will be open to having him back. But it's going to come down to what the price tag is. Yeah,
and then the other question I have is if he's not there, who's playing wide receiver? Yeah. I mean, that's something that the Ravens are going to have to ask themselves as well.
Well, they're going to draft somebody and then probably sign a veteran free agent. Whether that's Mike Wallace or not, it could be somebody else.
And Jeremy Maclin still is under contract for next year as well. So, all right, let's continue on here. This next question comes from Josh Wickline, and the question is, are we cutting Breshad Perriman? So Josh is wondering about what's going to happen with Breshad. A lot of people are wondering this. I don't think that the Ravens are going to cut Breshad Perriman right now. I think that they're going to keep him on the roster throughout the offseason program, give him another opportunity to build up that familiarity with Joe Flacco and then come into training camp next year. But I'll also say this, I don't think that his spot is ironclad guaranteed. I mean, John Harbaugh said this week that Breshad Perriman is going to have to earn his stripes. That's something that the Ravens are looking for him to do. He's going to have to come into training camp next year looking to make the team. They're not going to hand anything to him. The whole thing of you're a first-round pick, we're going to try to give you these opportunities. Those days have passed. Yeah, he's going into his fourth season. He had a really disappointing season last year. He knows that. He knows he has to be better, and the Ravens are going to look for him to take a big step. He's going to have to prove it.
Yep. To me, I think he has to prove it not only in practice, which he did during last summer, but he's going to have to prove it in games. That's where the transition hasn't been made to games for him, so I think he's going to have to prove it in practice and preseason for him to lock up a spot on this team because, like you said, it's not a given.
And the other big thing is he has to stay healthy. He can't have another setback with an injury.
Exactly. Our last question comes from @APBT God. I don't know what APBT stands for, but whatever. This question is, will we commit to getting a receiver in the first round of the draft? Yeah, this is definitely one we're going to spend a lot of time on this offseason. I'll say no. The Ravens are not going to commit to getting a first-round wide receiver. With that said, I think that's definitely something they're going to explore just like they did last year. You know, last year there's Mike Williams, John Ross, and Corey Davis, exactly. They were interested in, I think, all three of those guys. They were heavily looking at those guys. They all went before the Ravens got on the clock. This year, I think it could be a similar scenario. I think the Ravens are going to do their homework on any first-round wide receiver, but it just matters where they go. You know, the Ravens have the number 16 pick again. If all those guys are off the board, I don't see the Ravens just reaching just to get a wide receiver. They will be definitely highly interested. There's no doubt about it. But it's going to be who's there, is it the right guy? You look at Calvin Ridley from Alabama is one guy that pops to mind. Alabama guy, you know.
Yeah.
Ozzie Newsome's never afraid.
We've drafted a few Alabama guys over
the year. He's never afraid to take it. So I think they'll seriously look at it, but they could get one in the second round, they could get one in the third round. I think there will be a wide receiver in the first 3 rounds. If there's not, count me a shot.
All right, we'll put that on the books.
Put that on the books.
All right, so that does it for this week's edition of the Ravens Mailbag. But as always, we love to hear from you guys, so send in those questions on social media every single week. Thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great rest of your day.